Instant Pot chicken and rice is an easy all-in-one meal that is creamy, cheesy, and filled with tender bits of chicken. Hi everyone, Kristen here. As someone who suffers from a chronic disease, I believe homemade is best, but it doesn't need to be complicated. Today, I'm sharing a recipe that's been requested many times by you. Instant Pot chicken and rice. And I am so glad that you all encouraged me to make this recipe because it's easy, fast, and delicious. So let's get cooking. The first thing we're gonna do is turn our Instant Pot to saute and just give that a minute to warm up. While our Instant Pot is heating, let's talk about our chicken. I have about a pound of boneless, skinless chicken breast today. You could certainly use chicken thighs. And I'm gonna dice this into 1-inch cubes. I'm gonna season my chicken up with salt and pepper on both sides. The key to really adding flavor to one-pot recipes is to season as you go, so you don't wanna skip seasoning your chicken now. Now that my Instant Pot's heated and my chicken is seasoned, I'm going to add in 1 tablespoon of olive oil and 1 tablespoon of butter to my inner pot. The butter is going to give this dish a nice, rich finish, and the olive oil is going to help raise the heating temperature of the butter so that it won't burn. Once our butter's melted, I'm gonna add in my chicken here, along with 1 diced onion and 2 diced carrots. And then we're just gonna saute this mixture up until our chicken is nice and browned and our onion has begun to become softened. It'll just take a couple minutes. Just wanna stir it every little bit just so that all sides of the chicken gets nice and browned. My chicken's looking golden now, and so to this, I'm gonna add in 3 cloves of minced garlic. It's a lot of garlic, I'm gonna add a lot of flavor, and 1 teaspoon of dried thyme leaves. We just wanna saute this for just about 30 seconds just to lightly toast that garlic, but any longer would cause our garlic to burn, and that would ruin our dish fast. That looks good, and you know the drill. Anytime that we use the saute function on our Instant Pot, we must deglaze the bottom of our inner pot to prevent a burn notice. To do this today, I'm adding in a 1/2 cup of dry white wine. I'm using a Chardonnay, a Pinot Grigio would work as well. And if you don't like to cook with alcohol, you could certainly use an additional 1/2 cup of chicken stock at this point. And then we just want to scrape up all those brown bits on the bottom of our inner pot using a wooden spoon or spatula of some type. And then we're just gonna let this cook for just about a minute or 2, just to let some of that alcohol cook off and the wine to reduce. That looks good, and so I'm gonna hit cancel on my Instant Pot to turn off the saute function. And then I wanna add in 2 cups of low sodium chicken broth or chicken stock, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. Just gonna give that a stir just to combine that evenly. And now for our rice. When it comes to this recipe, we must use long grain white rice or jasmine rice. You do not want to use brown rice because brown rice takes a lot longer to cook, and in the amount of time it would take, the chicken would be way overcooked and dried out. So while I love whole grains, this is one recipe, white rice is the way to go. I have 2 cups of rinsed rice here that I'm adding to the inner pot. It's crucial that you rinse your rice before pressure cooking it. You just want to place it into a fine mesh strainer and rinse it under running water just for a couple minutes, and that will help ensure that your rice doesn't become mushy when pressure cooked. And now you just want to make sure that your rice is fully submerged in that liquid. I'm just gently pushing it down here. And that's it. We're gonna pop our lid on our Instant Pot. Make sure your vent knob is pointed towards sealed, not venting. And to set cooking time, we're gonna set for 3 minutes on high pressure. You wanna hit manual or pressure cook and use the plus or minus buttons to adjust until it reads 3. Once the cooking time has elapsed, don't do anything for at least 10 minutes. Anytime you're cooking rice or any grain or meat, you want to let pressure release on its own, and that will keep the meat tender and the grains perfectly cooked. After 10 minutes, before 15 minutes have elapsed, you can open up your Instant Pot. Now you can stop right here, but I'm gonna take this up a notch. I'm adding in 1 cup of frozen peas and 1/3 cup of freshly grated Parmesan cheese. And then you wanna use a fork, not a spoon, to gently fluff your rice and mix your peas and cheese into the rice and chicken mixture. The fork will help keep the grains of rice intact and again will help prevent that mushy rice from occurring. Now we're just gonna pop the lid back on the Instant Pot, just loosely set it there and let it sit for a minute or two just to let those peas warm through and that cheese to fully melt. And you can open it up and dish it out here. I'm gonna go in for a bite now. Get some chicken. It's so simple, but it's so good. The Parmesan and the wine and the thyme really take this simple dish up a few notches and add incredible flavor, but it's still picky eater approved. For another all-in-one Instant Pot recipe that your family will love, check out my next recipe where I share with you how to make Instant Pot spaghetti. Until then, happy cooking.